Let's go live for
Mm.
just a bit. Hello, everybody. No, it was just hey Ken. It was just dumb me. I'm fucking retarded when it comes to computers. So
Service repair, wait for motor linkage, components test, general
hey, Bachi,
diagnostic,
I
diagrams.
was getting
Okay.
I was getting a hold of Turner here to see if he had an idea. The windshield wipers don't work on that truck unless you put it in
I
an
just
accessory. Then they work just fine.
I just want to see. I just want to see if in key on if it actually runs into into the gem module with the with in key on.
I want to. Oh, hold on. I can look that up too. Give me 1 second here. You're probably right.
Because when you go to key on, if the gem module is not working, it won't send power to secondaries. But when you turn the key back, it's just running through the default.
Right, right. It's basically, yeah. Then you're basically bypassing
The gem module together because
yeah,
your door locks and all that should work, and your radio will come alive in that. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, let's see here. Actually, it goes. All of it goes through the gem module.
yeah, it does. So and in key on, if there's no power going to the gem module, it won't send signal for power to it. So your whole entire
And the
problem might just be
only
that.
and the only wire that shows which one was it? After the dash, because I checked at the gem module for the windshield wiper. Uh, which one was it? It was either the light blue one or the gray light blue one. I think it was the gray light blue one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. That had power. But didn't have power at the gem module itself where that little plug-in goes in.
Yeah,
That was the only wire that was hot. It was that gray, it was gray light blue.
yeah. What mission? Yeah, probably when you swap out that harness to that smaller one, that's probably going to fix the whole entire issue right there. Because what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing in accessory all is hot, and key on it has to go if there's no signal from the gem module, it's not going to go through because now it's not going hot. That's weird that their gem module go their gem module let wires go hot with in accessory, but
Yeah, but there is one wire that goes basically, it maintains the color too.
yeah,
That gray light blue, it goes basically straight through, the way the wiring diagram looks like anyway, it goes straight through the gem module. So I think that's what that is.
yeah, that's what I'm seeing too.
And I think that's why it works when you put it in accessory mode and then you turn the key all the way back. But were you still sticking to your story, huh?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking that yeah, with key on, it's not allowing the power to go hot.
Now the wires that go because I looked at that wiring harness one more time before I start yanking it all out. There is a bundle that goes through the door basically, and then goes back to the top. And the only thing that truck has is a dome light. But I mean, the bundle is pretty thick. Well, you got the dome light and the third brake light. That will be the wire. No, that wiring will be for that. So can you tell which one is the main power supply to the gem module?
That's what I'm trying to look up. I'm trying to find right now. Got five pages of wiring diagram for this.
It's an automatic.
Primary.
Let me see here. See, now this fucker don't show me a wiring diagram for that. Just the pin out. And that's not even the right pin out. Oh, wait a second. That's the pin out for the ignition switch. Is the ignition switch firing up the gem module then?
Yeah, that's the thing. When you turn on, there should be a gray white wire and I think it's a purple white wire that comes out of the ignition. The purple white will go to send a signal to the PCM. The gray white wire should go to the gem module, and off of that
See, maybe there's something in that rung in that wire. It just doesn't send power to the gem module. Oh, that sucks, Raging. It should be pretty easy fix though.
Uh-oh.
Well, Sayer's looking at Identifix. I was looking at Mitchell 1. Yeah, hey Tyler. Yeah, early one. I was getting hold of Sayer to see if you could give me a couple more pointers.
Fuse, amp, gasoline, diesel.
So basically what we're getting down to is if the gem module is fixed, that will take care of all of it.
Yeah. That's literally what I'm seeing. And God. So slow right now. Driver lock, park, all lock, park lamp, confused, breaker, tank turn, blue. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna look up the gem module pinout. Let's see.
Well, I guess I'll test that ignition switch tomorrow. It could be as simple as that ignition switch being bad. They're having a hard time finding the. Oh my God, that sucks.
Power cold.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Man.
Man, we got all kinds of people rolling in.
Why aren't you all at work working? Auto park, head off, park, park lamp, remote, main switch, trigger loom. Junction box.
It shows a lot of wires that are supplied all the time.
Yeah. That license plate, ground.
Yeah, that's right, Tyler.
Yeah,
You got
better.
night shift. It's going to work in an hour. Renegade says because we are watching you two not working.
Okay,
Actually, we
now
are.
what with the harness that has the one block that plugs in,
Mm-hmm.
it's hot in accessory, and it's hot in ignition. With the wiring harness that's not that's the one that you have in there right now. It's got a hot on the secondary block, and there's a key off. So when you're turning it to key off, it's putting power through the gem module through that block. But when you go to key on, it's trying to put the power through the gem module on the second block, and the single block harness, it will put power through on the same wire, key on, and in accessory. So with that harness that you have, when you turn, so I don't think it's your ignition when you turn it on. It's the power's trying to go through the ignition signal,
Right.
of the block. But then when it's an accessory,
but this gem module only has one plug to go in.
Yeah, but the one that's on the truck right now, that one has the two blocks.
Nope,
that's the one.
That is the original. I basically replaced all the wiring out of that donor truck in the disc truck. That is the weirdest thing. The only thing I did not replace was the cab wiring.
Yeah.
And I never even gave it a second thought because when I used that other wiring harness, it worked. You know, the dash worked, but the blower didn't.
Yeah. Because the one thing that you could do with that wiring harness on the door switch connector
doesn't have
try to jump. Doesn't have the door switch connectors. But the harness has the harness that's in there has the wiring for it, right?
For what?
The donor truck, the wiring harness, that the donor truck had had the power locks and all that, right?
Nope.
No.
Hey, Frosty. No, the donor truck is the plain Jane. It's the XL, so it has no power locks. It doesn't even have a light bulb in the door. No power windows. No power mirrors. No nothing. So you want to lock the door on that cab? You got to push the button in, by hand, the actual, the actual lock unlock button, not the electrical one, not the electrical toggle switch that's in the door. Hey, Mark, how are you? Mid-Atlantic? See, that's the whole thing that blows my mind. Everything out of the donor truck is basically in that truck.
Yeah.
Except for the cab wiring harness. That's not in there. But for the dash wiring harness, that's in there. I'll send you a tweet. What's that, Sayer?
Then your problem might actually be your ignition switch, or the wiring harness to the ignition switch might be a problem going on in there. Because what it literally sounds like is happening when accessory, it's allowing the power to go through. But when you put it in ignition, because there's two different wires for the power. There's power for accessory, power for ignition. So that ignition wire might be the issue.
Which wire are you talking about?
That's what I'm trying to find is the color of it.
Because I've got the pin out here on the ignition switch, and I've got a A1 ignition switch accessory or run.
Yeah.
And then I've got ignition switch in run, ignition switch in run, voltage supplied all times. And I've got 4 of those. And then ignition switch start or run, and then ignition switch start.
Or can I reverse? Coming down from their switch. Do you have the cylinder for the old truck still?
Yeah. I
that
switched that out
cylinder-
too. I switched it out too. Made no difference.
Yeah. So it's not the cylinder making connection. Revise, turn trader, right. My God. That's all the lights. Let me bring this back up. Let's take this back up. Ignition switch. And service repair, parts, ignition switch, components test, ignition lock number, key, ignition unit, sensor switches, components.
I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to see what I can find on this thing. That's not gonna work.
Hello.
Nope. No, because it wasn't in the van when I emptied out the van, and it's not in the bus. No, I do not see it anywhere here. But why is that diagram not showing up? Come on, diagram. Service repair, ignition switch. Describe mechanical inspection. Power to ground distribution. Oh, ground.
Gotta make sure I don't spill any of this holy water.
God, man. Old Dad is being a pain in the butt with this one.
So it's not just Mitchell 1 then, huh?
No.
Okay.
Let's see what Ford says. Let's see what Ford says.
Hey, Ken. Oh,
Da, 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 da. That's that.
Achi.
Instrument cluster, bus, fuel pump, ground, SCCR,
Hey, Randy, how are you?
connector. PCM, FPM relay, ground, data link, key power.
Pat. I guess we're all on Cajun stream. Ha ha.
well, welcome to Tech Day. Okay, let's see what we got here. On the ignition, key power.
It only goes to show, guys, I don't know everything, and I'm not ashamed to ask for help. I'm here to ask Sayer for help. So that's what this is all about. Hey, Jude, how are you? Hope all is good.
Okay, we got Radian connector, HDMI, hallway connector. Key on. Instrument cluster. That's management. My lord, seriously. They really don't want to give an ignition, a good ignition diagram. Even the Ford manual diagram.
Jude, the concern is in this engine swap that I'm doing on the 7.3, 6.0 delete, basically. I've got the instrument cluster, the warning lights work. Everything works except for the actual gauges don't work. And the windshield wiper only works in accessory. So if you turn the windshield wiper on while the truck is running or key on, it doesn't work. And as soon as you turn the truck off and you put it in accessory, you give it an extra click, the windshield wipers start working just fine.
Mm-hmm.
If I got to guess, Mid-Atlantic, Jude is on his lunch break.
Yeah, Jude would be helpful too, because he does a lot of work on Power Strokes also. and unfortunately, I know Anthony, the bearded Ford tech. He's working right now too. if it was 2:30, he'd be able to come on too. Oh Lord, seriously, why? Why can I not get that diagram? This is evil. Images.
Hey, there's no shame in that, Brandon, none whatsoever.
Nope.
I call you for help too. So.
Nope.
But it's definitely one of the things I love about this YouTube community. A lot of knowledge at your fingertips. The only thing you have to do is ask.
Cluster, Park, G3. It's got that evil G3 little wire. Green. That's your primary power to the cluster.
Well, it can't cross my mind to get a hold of Jamie too.
Mm. Seriously. Seriously. Sensor function box. Yeah, see what I get on the gem module, looking at the gem module. Gem.
Yeah, and saying personally, I've never been this deep into a 7.3. So, because most of the time it's it's a regular truck, right? So it's pretty easy to, if you got just a bad wire or whatever, that's pretty easy to figure out. But on the end of the day, there's nothing really original on this truck anymore. So it makes it a little harder to figure stuff out.
Does the 4x4 switch work on it at the same time? Because that's all part of the same circuit.
That's manual.
So it's got a manual, not the electronics.
Mm-hmm. And then the other wiring harness that I had in before had an electric switch in it, and it made no difference.
Because the wipers does go through the gem module.
Right.
And I'm just trying to figure out which wires, because friggin' the diagram is just retarded on this thing. Repairs.
Well, I just got your text, Ken. Yes.
Nothing on that one. Jesus, man. Seriously? This is why I miss the old all data. The old all data on the CD discs was so much easier to.
Yes, Jude, 7.3 wiring and 7.3 cluster. Basically all the wiring came out of the donor truck. But there's certain things that will not work in this newer truck, and it's basically your cab functions, like your dome light, your door switch, or your lock switch, lock on lock switch, things like that, because that is completely different.
Ignition key wiring, seatbelt, ground, input, red, yellow, park, shower, yellow. Roof door, key warning, airbag.
Hey, Biggie Fitz, how are you?
Hot. Kick, sweet belt set. Center, black key, left. Ignition warning switch. Domestic airbag. Interior lights, main switch. Nope. That one doesn't have it.
Yes, but none of that works because the 6.0 truck, the wiring is completely different. None of that stuff matches up. JWC. It's coming up in a video, so it's a little bit of a headache. But once you sift through all the junk, basically, it's not too bad. But
Transmission system.
that's great, Ken.
Order for high and ground. Man, Jesus. Components, black, yellow. Ground supplement to illustrate. Engine control systems, red. And yellow. Dash starter relay. Horn, hot all times. Yeah, the hot all time is light blue, black. Engine control systems is the red.
Hold on. The light blue.
Light blue, black.
Yep.
And that's the hot all time. Here, engine, transmission, anti-lock. Behind dash, there's a black anti-brake, transmission.
You were saying there was a red one?
Yeah, there's a solid red. That's your engine. That's your engine control system. That should be live. Park, kick, cruise control, engine control system ties into the control system. Red, white. Water, brake, anti-lock, low, coolant indicator. Oil. Let's go all the way back over to here. Is oil pressure switch. Generic engine control behind lower left side. Dark green. Okay, for the instrument cluster end of it, your three primary wires are a dark green, light green. Then you have a dark.
Instrument cluster is, you said what?
Dark green, light green.
Dark.
And then you got another one which is dark green, orange.
1 second. You got a dark green, light green. And then you had a what?
A dark green, orange.
Dark green, orange.
And then the third one is your violet, white. Those are your primaries for off the gem module to the instrument cluster. So diesel. And that red.
Yeah, and those are hot. I already checked those.
Yeah. And then there's
I've got power coming in. at the cluster.
And then there's a red white that comes off the powertrain control module. That should be hot with in key on.
Yeah, these should be all hot at key on, because when key is off, they
So if those wires are giving you a signal, then everything should be working.
see, now you're getting to the point where I'm at. Because those wires supply the power to the instrument cluster,
Yeah.
and they're all hot. The power, I mean, it does get power. It's just the gauges don't want to work. Hey, Jamie. Impedance mismatch causing odd electrical behavior. Well, that's kind of where I don't. You see, and even if I disconnect that gray plug that goes into the wiring harness of the cab, it still does the exact same thing with the dash.
And for power to the gem module, you want to check fuse 8 and fuse 20 and voltage through those, because that's your hot and accessory, hot and run.
Yeah. Okay. Fuse. What do you say?
8 is hot in accessory or run.
Mm-hmm.
Fuse 20 is hot in start. And those are the two that with the key on that put power to it. So
Yeah, that's under the dash, right?
yeah.
Fuse 8. Yep, that one is hot. And then fuse 20. Yep. Those are fine.
Hot all times. Park, airbag, blue, black. We got light blue, black. That light blue, black really seems to be important. It's in every diagram. Behind center dash. Door, right door.
If the load require a certain current and the cluster is used to, then could result scooping the power.
Is the door chime coming on when the key's in the ignition and the door's open?
No, because none of that is hooked up. And like I said, and I know it doesn't matter because when I had that Auto 7.3 wiring harness in that, the cluster worked, everything worked fine except for the blower. Hey, Tim. I'm not sure about the resistance, Jamie. I think there's a mismatch of a wire somewhere or something. Somehow. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there. This is system. Ignition switch.
And seeing like when I hook the scanner up, the scanner don't even see the gem module. That's the thing that got me really thinking on. There's a wire not matching up somewhere somehow. Like I said, it's not recognizing the gem module through the scanner, and we know well, and I'm pretty sure that because the gem module isn't functioning properly, that's why it doesn't receive the signals. But all the warning lights work. It's just the gauges, like your throttle, your oil pressure, battery. Those are the gauges that are not working. The actual gauges that have a needle on them. Well, if anything else, Jamie, I'll get a hold of you here after the stream and see if we can call. Wait a second. What does Joe Mama says? The ground for instrument cluster is behind the driver's side knee pad. Lower cover below steering wheel. Yeah, but those grounds are all there. There's two bolts there that screw into the frame of the dash. And if you sit in the truck on your right hand knee, you're right. Those are the ones you're talking about, Yo Mama? Well, that's one of the things we're trying to figure out, Jamie.
These diagrams are absolutely useless.
Yeah, that's what it is, Jude. And so with the 173 wiring harness, I have no blower. I've got no HVAC, none whatsoever. And with this one, which blows my mind because everything worked fine before. The only thing I don't have is the actual gauges on the cluster. And I do have wipers, but that's only in accessory mode. Well, that would be the only thing I still have to check out right now is that, Jamie, to the gem module.
Yeah. Because the only thing that I can think of is in key on, the gem module is not coming to life. But in key off, in key and accessory, your scan tool should be able to pick up the gem module in accessory because the gem module will activate on the scan tool. The PCM will not, but the gem module will. So put in a key off because if that's
I haven't even tried that.
Key on circuit. Because if you're getting power and key off to the gem module and your scan tool can pick it up, then it's going to be a ground. It's going to be a ground issue on one of the circuits, and that means that there's either a switch that's missing on that circuit, or a switch that's dead on that circuit, or a fusible link that's dead on that circuit. So,
yeah, Jude, the wiring harness that's in the truck now is the one out of the donor truck, and everything worked before that got all pulled.
Because then that's it. Then you can just trace back from the key on, and then go through the grounds, like through all the accessory harnesses, and anything that has a switch on it. Test the ground.
There's
on
really
that
nothing
switch.
there with a switch on it. That is the funniest part.
Yeah, but you have the headlight switch.
Yep.
That'll be part of the circuit. The radio ground will be part of that circuit.
Mhm.
And yeah, and so yeah, it's going to be like like I said, if you turn it to accessory, and the gem module lives up, but nothing else does, then that's it's going to be it's purely going to be a ground issue somewhere on one of the circuits coming off the primary ground signal.
Right.
And that will be coming from the ignition key on. So I start from the ignition cylinder, test the grounds, going all the way back through that primary ground signal. So because that's one thing I do know about the Fords is I'm like, but whenever I programmed gem modules, I've actually programmed them with the key off, like in accessory mode, and have been able to program them that way.
Right. Yeah, because basically everything, all the switches, well, the vast majority of your switches in the cab are based on ground, not on power.
Because that's where I'd start, because the diagrams are absolutely useless.
Okay, I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one who's concluding that,
Nope.
because it's not
Identifix is
very clear
useless.
on what is what.
Even the Ford OEM diagram is useless on this one, because it actually does not show the complete circuit.
Right.
It segments it, but somewhere in that segmenting of it, it's not showing
it's like
the actual.
Yep.
But that's why I like the old all data, because what the old all data did, they had the actual wiring harness diagram in their thing, and they stretched it apart, so you actually saw the wiring diagram in its order. These new ones, yeah. They actually took more time. Why they didn't use those old diagrams?
A few other wiring changes depend on years. If using a 01 back wiring harness, you need to splice a small piece where the PCM and the connector go through. Yeah, and this is, you need to splice. Give me 1 second here, Jude. Yes, that has all been changed to the 7.3. Because, like I said, on the end of the day, stuff coming off the transmission, stuff coming off the engine, that all goes through the fuse box in the engine bay is in there. The 3 square plugs, they're in the firewall, and then it plugs right into, on the inside of the cab, right into those 3 big plugs, and then it goes from there. But yes, because there's if you got the newer 01s, basically that are basically the same as an 02, you got wires go straight through the firewall without a connector there. The connector sits up on the fender well underneath the fuse box. Like I said, I never realized there was that many differences in the 7.3s. I thought that the biggest difference was in the 99s and 2000. But there's a lot more breakups in them, like 2001 apparently.
Well, 98 to 99 they had some changes. 99 to 2001 they had differences.
Yeah.
From 95 to 98 there were 2 different harnesses on that one, and then when you get up into the 2003. Then you got like what I have. You got a 2003 7.3 that came factory with a 5-speed transmission. That diagram doesn't even exist.
Yeah, and here you got another one. Looked at a 2002 wiring harness for in the cab, and it was exactly the same as this '04.
Yeah.
It had the whole patch system and all that stuff in there, and this one don't even have any of that. So
Never know. That's the thing is that the actual fuse block when the gem module plugs in, there you might have burnt a pin out by accident. So when you go into key on, you're not getting a ground signal on the back of that on the actual power
okay,
block.
but so here I got another gem module that I use with that wiring harness because that wiring harness came out of a crew cab. So I got me another gem module. I already swapped that out. Made no difference.
But the problem could be in the power block that the gem module connects to because it plugs into the back of the fuse block, the fuse panel. So you could have accidentally shorted something out on the actual power block.
I wouldn't know how I would have shorted something out, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
it's getting to be a little frustrating to be honest with you.
Like I said, like if the gem module livens up on your scan tool in accessory, but not in key on, then I'd start checking your grounds going back from the ignition to the power block, and then from the gem module out. So that's the only advice that I can give you because that's what I'd be doing right now.
Yeah, dude, I put all the 7.3 stuff into that cab, all of it, all the wiring, all the fuse boxes, the whole skit caboodle, everything went in there. Everything went in. Everything that was 6.0 got ripped out, or got not ripped out, but I just pulled it out, and then I put all the 7.3 stuff in it. Hey, thank you for stopping in, Bocce.
Because I just think you got it dead somewhere on the ignition on ground. That's that's the only thing that I can think of. Because like I said, if the gem module comes on live, what in accessory, then it's going to have to be a ground on ignition.
Yeah.
On the ignition on run. So.
Yeah, I agree, and I haven't even thought about doing that with the scanner, with the key and accessory. Like I said, when
the gem module will always come live if there's power going to it in your scan tool. The only one that doesn't go live is the PCM, and that has to be always key ignition on. But you always have voltage to the PCM. But that's the thing. You can test to see if the gem module functions with an accessory, because if the gem module functions and you can access it, then it's a problem with the ignition circuit. So. And the only thing that will go wrong with that one is the ground, because the ground wire is the ones that like to fizzle out, and there's also the ground is shared between switches and also breaks apart when it travels through. So.
Yeah, because there's
good old Ford.
It's impressive how many ground wires are in the dash itself. But.
Well, at least it's a Ford, not a Freightliner. Because Freightliner, all the wires are the same color. All those Freightliners that had the 7.3 in them, those little FLs and stuff like that. Those things were stupid. I was like, hey, look, I got a purple wire and a purple wire, a purple. Oh, look, a white wire. What's that one? Oh, one black wire. Oh, purple, 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 purple. That's the only thing I can give you. I can't really help you any more than that. Like I'll take some more looking into it later on, but that's the best I can offer you.
I appreciate the help. I really do. Yeah, I used all the original ground wires that were there on the 7.3. All that got put in, all at the same spot, same place. I made, and before I put some of that back, I actually made sure it was cleaned off to make sure that the ground wire had a good contact point. Yep, that's all done. But I'll get a hold of you here in a little bit, Jamie.
You can also try to jump the primary ground from the gem module straight to a to another ground.
Right.
Like literally just try to jump it and see if that does, because if I key on and you jump the
Hey, Jude, thank
primary
you for
ground from the
stopping in.
gem,
Appreciate it.
and it goes live, then you're you're going to be tracing that ground line. But in greater theory, just jumping the ground from the gem module straight to the body, that should give you a ground and a signal. So,
Well, that would be the only thing I have to look up then, the ground wire on the gem module. Because I wouldn't even waste any time. So I'm sure it's the black one.
Insulate part.
Ford is pretty good on that.
Seatbelt charger. Windshield select input. Wiper, speed control, interval headlamps, park lamps. Solid state. Signal. Solid state.
Yeah, because there's several black ones here. Look at the same spot. The unplugged.
Door jar switch. Safety seatbelt switch. Door jar.
Right, yeah. But see, Jamie, that's the whole problem with this particular gem module. It's from a plain Jane cab. So door switches, it doesn't even have door switches for lock, unlock. It doesn't have electric windows. It doesn't have any of that. It is a plain Janer. If you want to lock the door, you got to lock each door on each side by hand with that push button that's right there in the corner. And the windows are all hand cranks. I'm going to test real quick and see if we'll put the scanner on it, if we put the key on accessory mode.
Yeah, yellow. Yellow. Function box distribution panel. Pink orange. Just what it says. It's a pink orange. Pink orange. That's a pink orange wire. Pink orange, yeah, pink orange. And a pink orange wire. I used to find a pink orange wire.
Pink orange wire?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing for the ground for the primary ground is a pink orange wire coming off of it.
Pink orange. Okay, that is the ground?
Yeah, that's what it's saying for the input output ground is a pink orange.
Yep, there's only one on there. See, and this plug is exactly the same. Here's your pink orange one right here.
That should be your that's it says that's your input output ground. And that's the only ground that I see on it. I don't see any other ground. Yeah.
It's not recognizing, it cannot find the vehicle. An accessory.
Turn the key on, load it up, then go to gem module, turn the key off, and it should pick up the gem module.
Okay. Doing that right now.
Yeah, I forgot the Zerk. You can't enter the VIN number for the vehicle.
Right.
The scan tools that you can enter the VIN number will pull up the information, then you can just bypass to the module that you want to test.
Yeah, it's uploading right now, so. See, right now, the scanner says gem module not equipped.
Yeah. Now what the now turn the key, like click on gem module, turn the key off to the all the way to the accessory, and then hit the gem module again.
It only brings up what is equipped.
Okay, now turn the ignition all the way to accessory and see if you can rescan with your tool. Maybe the Zerk can't. The Zerk might not be able to do it.
It's finding it.
It found it in accessory. So it's a ground. It's an ignition ground issue.
See that gem
Yeah.
module equipped, and earlier it was saying it wasn't there.
See now you know a little now you know a little trick for modules that aren't working. Put it in ignition, scan it, turn it off, and if the module reads and comes in, that means there's signal in the accessory, no signal in the ignition. Yeah, I may be senile and crazy, but sometimes I know what I'm doing.
This is fucking awesome, man. Oh,
No.
and that makes so much sense because, like I said, the wipers weren't working right.
Yeah.
And then then that's where I hooked up the scanner, and it wouldn't even recognize the gem module. I'm like, well, that's weird.
Yeah. Now, when you put when it's in accessory mode, you should be able to do the test the tests on the module. If your Zerk will do it, but that since it's coming on an accessory and it's livening up an accessory, it's a ground from the ignition. It's an ignition.
And I guarantee you that's where the problem is, right there.
So just try to jump that pink orange wire to the firewall and see what happens with in key on. Because it might just be the ground is broken signal on one of the switches, and if that works, then just time to play backtrace. Pull that harness out and follow that ground along that harness. Like just literally follow that ground all the way along, and where it splits off, check every end of it. So.
Yeah, Jamie, it does have. Let me see here. I'll show you what I've done. And I did this just to keep it simple for the customer. It's a little bit redneck. I know.
Because because the other switches that will be on that ground will be any transmission signal switch for the speedometer and the oil pressure switch.
Right, that all goes in there. It goes all through there.
Yeah. But that's the thing. There could be a break somewhere along those lines. So
I use this here, Jamie, to I mean, you can make it very complicated, or you can keep it fairly simple. So, and this is very simple. That way, I didn't have to cut into no wiring harness, and I could basically leave everything original and find a. Saying what you can do here is you can, the first fuse here this one here still protect your original circuit, and then this fuse here will protect the circuit that comes off of here.
Did you make those yourselves, or did you order them?
No, you can buy these.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never seen those before.
I personally think they're awesome. It saves and if I was somebody that would have to add an extra circuit, like, for a remote start or whatever, why don't people use this? That way you never have to cut into a wiring harness. Everything stays protected.
Hey, Sergio.
Yeah, I'll send you. I'll like I said, Jamie, I'll talk to you later. I'll get a hold of you. And
so where did you buy? Where did you get those from? I want to get me some now.
Amazon. Yeah, type in fusible pigtails or whatever. It should show up. And you got them in all different kinds. You got the super minis, and you got the regular minis, and you got the larger ones.
Okay.
Hey, Lakes, how are you? Did you find them?
Oh, cool. Yeah, I found them. Yeah, I've never actually seen like that. That would actually be really handy even for the oscilloscope. I like it. I'll have to get me a bunch of them. I never actually thought about that because technically, when you're adding a fusible link inside, it's technically the same thing except for just wired differently.
Well, I just thought that that was the best way to go with this. So, yeah, I agree with you, Joe Mama. Keep it simple, stupid. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
You see, and then I did, so I did a fuse, one just for itself for the power locks. And I got, I got me the relays for it and all that stuff. I've got that all to work.
now, can your Zerk do the cluster test where it actually runs the actual indicator? Like,
No, because the gem module wasn't available.
yeah, but now that you can access the
Yes,
gen
but
module like this,
well, I'm
now
not
you can
sure
try
on
to
the
test
four,
those.
not sure on a Fort because I never had any problems with Fort dashes. But on GMs, yeah, I can sweep the gauges.
Yeah. But see,
'Cause
now
I,
that you
I
can access it and key off, you can try to do a gauge sweep, and if the gauge sweep works, then just start tracing that ground back. It sounds like a pain in the butt, but now you got something to work
right.
on because like that's the thing is like I said, that white Ford that I was worried about the customer not paying me for, it turned out it was just the door switch because he had the power doors. The ground was not making circuit through, and second I switched that door switch out, it was working fine. And then later on, I ran into another truck that had a similar scenario, but it was the ground
Yeah.
on the oil pressure switch that wasn't working. So I fixed the ground on the oil pressure switch, and that fixed the problem. So
Yeah, yeah. But I made several. I kept them really small. The little wiring harnesses that I made for the dome light, for the electric seat, the power windows, the door locks, and the power mirrors. I kept them small and light so that way you won't pull too much juice at once, right? And I got that all figured out and plugged in and hooked up and hey Rich, how are you? Man, that makes me so oh my God.
well, that just the fact that your scan tool is picking its signal up in key off says it's a
Yeah.
key, it's an ignition run ground issue.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, you're right. Oh, I'm sure we're going to get it figured out now. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'll hook up a ground to that pink orange wire tomorrow, and I may even do that yet tonight. Just use a little jumper. Because now I'm curious if that's what it is, then I know for sure it's the ground, right? Jamie says the 460 that was a fusible link behind dash causing front fuel tank pump not to work in ignition run, but ran during crank. Huh.
that was the nice thing about the old trucks. The wiring harnesses were so simple, and the fusible
Yeah.
links were in accessible areas. Like you could
Yep.
see the fusible links. Like that's what I like about anything pre 96 was just heaven when it came to electrical.
was just thinking something that. Turn that charger off real quick. All right. Well, how about we're going to call it?
Yeah. There you go. Got some extra stream time. Now, everyone that showed up here, make sure you smash that like button for them. The surprise stream.
So I have to pull everything. Yeah. When you get into wiring, I mean, it can be a headache sometimes but if you find it, then it's like, oh my God, it was so simple, just like this.
That's the one thing that I like about older commercial vehicles is that you can literally wire everything up to run standalone, and it's really easy. Like the PCMs and all that were easy to set up standalone. The transmission was easy to set up standalone. Nowadays, trying to do anything standalone, nope.
Well, it's no different as dropping that 5.9 Cummins 12 valve into that square body. There was basically, there was some wiring, but it was very limited. And it was, all that wiring was very simple. It's like using the main distributor wire. I use that to fire up the fuel pump. So. All right. I think I'm going to call it for today.
Yeah. Now time to get some work done.
Well, I mean, well, I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, no idea. Because I was, like I said, and when you keep working on it, before you know it, you start pulling the hair out of your head and.
No. That's the thing. Even I have to go online. Like that's the wonderful thing about this YouTube. This being able to do stuff like this, using social media for good things, or to talk face to face and stuff like that. Like even I had to on that stupid van. I had to get help. Like,
yeah, I think we at least we got a very good lead, Bocce, thanks to Sayer. So. Yeah, me too, Brandon. Like I said, and this is all it takes, just bouncing some of this stuff back to somebody else. And the only thing you need is one good point that brings up, hey, check this or do that, or have you looked into this? And that's tonight, right here in this hour was the prime example of that. I appreciate it, Joe Mama. Thank you. Thank you for, helping out and giving some pointers and stuff like that. I really do.
It was cool to see that Power Stroke popped in. That was cool.
Yep, for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. I really appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out for a minute. I didn't really plan on it, but, going back to You'll see it, Lakes. It was a cluster, and the cluster gauges weren't working. The gauges with the needles on them, and the windshield wipers weren't working either. And the windshield wipers would only work in accessory when the keys, your switch was, or your ignition switch was in accessory. And then when I a couple of days ago, hooked up the scanner to it and wouldn't even recognize the gem module. So, and it does now. Bocce, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome seeing you all here today.
Yeah, and like I said, I appreciate everybody coming out, hanging out for a minute, and helping out and giving some pointers. I really do. I really appreciate it. This is an awesome community, and especially when you can ask for help and nobody will judge you for it, and you're just trying to put the best foot forward and trying to help you out. That I really appreciate that. That's awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. Y'all have a good one. Y'all take care.